welcome back. And next we have Helen Mack, our optimism coach here in the fourth in the series of Optimising Outcomes. And she's talking to us today about maintaining an optimistic mindset. Helen.
Hi, Linda.
Welcome back. So tell us more about how we can do that.
So we've been talking about this whole idea of optimising outcomes, and the mindset is one of the foundation pieces. But it's really great to get your clarity right first and then get into momentum. And then as you're maximising your momentum, it's important to maintain an optimistic mindset. And the key here is about optimism as a power to help you achieve greater outcomes. So optimism, the baseline word comes from the Latin optimus, which means the search for the good or the search for the best possible. And your viewers may remember our conversation about best possible in the first session. So an optimistic mindset allows us to take a different approach. Generally speaking, when we're looking at the world, I think we've been taught the wrong spectrum. Most people have been taught about positive thinking. But what most people think is that we're supposed to somehow be happy all the time. Bad news, life's not like that. We have ups and downs, we have tough times, and even as a professional optimist, I have bad days. The difference is that if you're looking at the positive thinking solution, then when you have a bad day, the reaction tends to be, now look, don't panic, don't stay calm, it's all fine, and then you need to just kind of chill out and think nice thoughts and everything will be okay. When we come across obstacles, they need to be something that's part of the reality that we're ready to cope with. So we still have bad days. Even you and I, who focus on this a lot, have days where you go, oh, it's just really, really hard today. The next step is the reality check step. And the reality check is 3 pieces. If you and I were going on a trip and we wanted to make sure that we get there in the nicest possible way, there are 3 things we need to identify. Where are we now? Where are we going? And what's the best way to get there? The optimistic mindset is exactly the same thing. Where am I now? What's going on in my world? What is it that I want to achieve? Going back to our clarity conversations of earlier. And then where do I want to end up? Given that we know that there may be detours and adjustments along the way, what's the ultimate goal currently? And then what's the best method for me to get there, including thinking about my resources? Now, resources might be physical resources, but they also might be people or time or money or effort or energy, so a variety of resources. Where am I now? Where do I want to go? And what have I got on my team, on my side, to get me there? Having done that, we then do the what's possible, best possible conversation that we covered in the first session, so that we can identify the best possible way to take action on that goal. And built into that is this idea that along the way, if we keep making choices around optimism, choices around best possible, then that conscious choice opens things up for us. We're more likely to see and seize opportunities that come along versus being closed to, no, I'm just going to do this. An optimistic mindset is also about opening our eyes to everything that is around us and seeing how can we get the best possible outcome from all of those things.
I suppose into that comes appreciation. Would that be right? Appreciation for what you're taking note of that? Would that be a valid
very much so.
point?
So appreciation of the journey, appreciation of the steps that you've managed to take, appreciation of the people around you. Gratitude is a very big part of an optimist's mindset. So being grateful and, very importantly, expressing that gratitude. So one of the ways to maintain an optimistic mindset is to be grateful for where you are and to express gratitude for the people around you who helped you get there. Another element of the optimistic mindset is learn from every experience. We're going to have some good and some bad, and we can learn from both of them. So learn from every experience is another element of the principles of maintaining an optimistic mindset. I think one of the other things that sometimes happens is that people kind of beat themselves up if there's not a learning. That's okay. It can just be a thing that happened, and we can process it and say, okay, I'm just going to learn not to do that again. That's enough of a learning. We don't have to have some kind of great revelation after we've had a bad experience.
And Helen, how does maintaining the mindset actually help us to optimise opportunities in our lives?
Lovely question, Linda. The thing about opportunities is that our ability to respond to those opportunities is very much about where our mindset is. So if we go right back to the first session around not possible, if an opportunity comes across our path and we go, oh, that's not for me, or that's not possible, or I can't do that, then we get closed down to that opportunity. An optimistic mindset says, what part of this might work for me? Is there something in here that I could do for a learning opportunity, for someone else that I care about, for a cause that matters to me? So as a very quick example, when I moved to Trentham with my late husband, the local Great Trentham Spudfest was struggling. It was closed down. The people who were running it had kind of made it small. And an opportunity arose for me to become the big spud. I could have said, look, I'm just going to leave that to someone else. But I was new in the town, and I could see that this festival had great opportunities to bring everyone together. So it was an opportunity for me to practice my collaboration skills, to get more connected into the town. And over the next couple of years, I expanded the festival so that it's now a 4-precinct, whole of village, everyone involved, and a whole number of different ways to celebrate the potato, which is so critical to my hometown community. The optimistic mindset allowed me to keep asking, what's possible? What's the best possible outcome? Who should I bring in? So I used the clarity questions as well as the not possible, what's possible, best possible pieces of the optimistic approach to optimizing outcomes. Isn't that a lot of O's? And what it meant was that I had opportunities that I would never have had to connect in with my community and to make a difference to a whole bunch of people that I really like. So my recommendation to your viewers is, when you're faced with an opportunity that feels a bit big, just use that creating clarity step and then ask the what's possible question. What's possible for me? What's the best possible outcome? And then just take that tiny wee step forward.
Wonderful, wonderful. That first step's always sometimes the hardest and can be the
most
simplest.
Important.
Yeah. Wonderful, thank you. And we'll go to break now. And if you'd like more information on Helen Mack and maintaining an optimistic mindset, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. See you back next time with Helen on Taking Action. Welcome back, and welcome back Nancy Beckhor, who's here to talk to us today about psychedelics and mind expansion. Welcome, Nancy.
Hello. Well, what's this big interest in psychedelics? World Health Organization has said in 2017 that psychedelic medicine is the greatest, most powerful new field of medicine because people are getting well from things they were never meant to be able to get well with. Now, to speak about this, we need to just go over what I spoke about last time about meditation. Meditation is to calm, make inner peace. It is especially to connect with the inner self, the knowing self, and ultimately leading to your sense of purpose and resolving conflicts that you may have, because guess who knows best about you is you. So as we move on to what I call advanced meditation, is kind of what psychedelics are, except that most of the population accesses that by swallowing plant medicine or plant of herbs, basically herbs. And why do they do it? So mind expansion gets us to answer questions like, why does someone get over a terminal illness and somebody doesn't? Why is somebody luckier than somebody else? My background is physics and chemistry, and I will say to you, there are so many unexplained mysteries in the world. Where does the new technology come from? Where does great art come from? It's said that we only use 3% of our brain power. So people are wanting to access this. But, you know, ingesting herbs is not for everybody.
So, yeah, that's interesting. What about I've noticed in nature there are these unexplained things scientists don't have any explanation for, like water disappearing into nowhere.
Yes, I find it a very exciting time. physics is almost being turned on its head. They actually say that the physics of consciousness, which is where mind expansion goes, are different laws. And that's where you can get mysterious things happening. You know, you follow coincidences. The kind of coincidences that can occur to a person who's tuned in, high-level meditation, the kind of things that can happen blow your mind, but you don't hear about it on the news. People don't know what to do with these extraordinary happenings, and so nothing is said about it. But the time has come for us to make use of all of our powers. So I'd like to tell you there is a much easier way, which is light technology, which I had spoken about in regards to meditation. But light technology is a much simpler event where you go have a 30-minute session and then you leave fully functional, and you begin to integrate what you experienced of maybe the colours, the patterns, and again the mind steps aside and we get genius. This is from whence genius comes. Let's stop doing the same things the same way all the time. So people have travelled everywhere around the world. People are travelling, I mean, soon there's going to be shuttles out in space. But what about the cosmic inner world, the great uncharted territory? It's extremely exciting because it will affect your actual life.
Well, thank you, Nancy. And for more information on Nancy and psychedelics and light technology and meditation, then please go to our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. Welcome back. And now we have Mark Carazzo, business consultant and coach, and continuing the series on positive psychology. Today we're talking about positive emotions. And over to Mark. Mark, why is that important? Why are they important?
Well, Linda, they're very important, but before I get into that, I'd just like to give a bit of an outline of the most common positive emotions we deal with every day, and they would be things like serenity, awe, inspiration, curiosity, hope, pride, gratitude, love. They're all the things that we love to hear and we love to want more of. So I suppose the question of why they're important, firstly, they make us feel good. Nobody can have enough positive feelings. But what we've learned is that more positive emotions in our life actually dial up the learning centres in our brain. And this really means that we see life from a broader perspective, we can see opportunity, and we can accept what other people are saying. Negative emotions, things like fear, tend to lead us into a very negative form of behaviour like flight, or sadness into withdrawal. But we know now that positive emotions are broadening, and this has been given to us through effective brain imaging science as well as eye tracking science. So you can see that if we want to be the best form of ourselves, we need to try and experience as many positive emotions as possible, and certainly more positive emotions on a regular basis than negative. It also has been shown from a study called the Nun study that positive emotions lead to longevity. About 200 nuns in 1930, upon entering a convent, did a bit of an autobiographical study on what they were hoping to get out of life in the convent. Now, 6 decades later, scientists tried to take that writing to try and anticipate what in that writing could indicate how long those particular nuns would live for. And it wasn't the intelligence evidenced by their writing which showed how long they would live for. It wasn't where they lived, it was more a question of how many positive emotions, how much happiness was shown in their particular writing. So I think that's very important. Positive emotions lead to longevity. It is also a buffer, a protective resilience against difficult times. And we also know, I think curiously now, is that people that experience positive emotions tend to have a more coherent and smooth heart activity, which is very important.
Oh, okay. And how would you say then, how could people incorporate more positive emotions into their lives?
I think the first thing to do is look at things that we already have in our lives, particularly even the small things, and be grateful for them. So I suggest that people practice regularly gratitude journaling, or practice gratitude in their everyday life. Find something to be thankful for. That of itself is a positive emotion. It's gratitude. It's also things like serenity. It brings awe. It brings curiosity. So gratitude is very important. I think the other thing we can do is savour pleasant experiences that we have in our life. We tend to jump from one good thing to the next and forget what we've been through. So it's a concept known as savouring or replaying. Something, for instance, from your past holiday within 6 months, live through how you felt that day, the emotions that you were feeling, the positive sense. You're basically reproducing something for which you've already experienced. So I think that's, you know, 2 clear ways to do it. The other thing I really strongly advocate is meditation. It's a word which is confusing to a lot of people, but just finding something small, normally associated with nature, that you can focus on, calm yourself down, focus on that piece of nature, and try and keep the mind still is a great way, the research says, of bringing positive emotions into our life.
So important. And what about the workplace then?
Well, the workplace is a place where we spend a lot of our time. We spend 8 hours a day there, and yes, it can be a place for positive emotions. When you think about it, pride in your work, you can be inspired by other people, you can be in awe of other people. It's a place where relationships are very important to us, so there's even possibility of love. And when I say love, I don't necessarily mean love in the romantic sense. I mean love in a sense where we have mutual care for people, we share positive emotions with them. So the workplace is very important. The other thing to really note about the workplace is the concept of contagion, which basically really dictates that our moods and emotions are highly transferable to others. So we can pick up positive emotions from others, and importantly, I think we can share and give positive emotions to people that we work with.
Mark, would some positive emotions be more important than others?
It's a very individual question to ask that. I think they're all important. There's 2 that personally stick out for me. One of them is gratitude. Because we're so ambitious and because we're prone to sort of negativity, I think it's very important to rebalance our life, get into the present moment, is to look at what we've got on a regular basis and be thankful for it. And that unleashes a whole lot of positive emotions in our lives. So for me, gratitude is one. The other one is love. And I'm not saying love in the romantic sense. I'm saying love in moments of mutual care, in sharing of positive emotions with many people during our day and our friends. It's proven to be very important. We're seeing some good evidence showing that love helps us to have smooth, coherent heart patterns, and really is very valuable to our health.
And what about some hints for our viewers? What would be some final hints on experiencing positive emotions?
Well, do something that you love and you enjoy. Go out into nature, I think, particularly, and not only experience positive emotions, but tell yourself you're experiencing positive emotions, so that moment is not lost on you, whether you say it outwards or whether you say it inwards. So that would be a key one. I think meditation is very important, as I've said before. And the other thing I think we should realise in this modern world, we tend to all carry mobile phones, and we really have seen them in some cases as a necessary item that accompanies us. It can be used for positive emotions. All of us have photos in there. All of us can create slideshows of our recent holidays. All of us can take a photo of nature. So I'd say there's 3 tips for you.
Thank you so much, Mark. For more information on Mark Corazzo, then please go to our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, talking about positive psychology. And for now, we'll say bye-bye, and we'll see you back here next week.